Speaking of Boston, Bill Belichick. Talk about a name that is getting hot in the coaching carousel in the NFL. There's been reports now that teams have been reaching out, including the Raiders, Pete's unofficial team, as Tom Brady, of course, has an ownership stake and has been part of the process. That's been known. He's part of this coaching search process, and they're reaching out to Belichick. There's been an athletic report from Diana Rossini that says he doesn't plan on leaving North Carolina. That doesn't say he's not leaving North Carolina. What credence do you give to this? Do you think there's a real shot that Bill Belichick is being introduced as an NFL head coach next week?
God, when you put it like that, you're so good at asking questions. What a journalist. When you put it like that, no.
Even though it's a yes/no question.
I don't think there's a good chance of him being introduced as an NFL coach next week. But there's a chance, like Diana Rossini said, and going back to a conversation I shared with you, Stephen Belichick's on the staff, right? Mm-hmm. And I was actually talking to Chris Patola about this before the Baylor game I did. We were talking about guys who position their sons to take over, and how it's like, wouldn't this be interesting? And it's not even position their sons.
It's a big part of this, yeah.
Yeah, and it's not even their sons; it's their successors, like what Tony Bennett did at Virginia. Like
Smith famously did it.
Yes, you have these programs or organizations over a barrel. Like, I don't know. I don't even know if Stephen Belichick is the top assistant. He very well could be.
He's going to be the head coach in waiting. Yep.
Okay, he is. So there you have it. So if Bill Belichick were to bounce, in a week, that leaves North Carolina either to make a crazy decision, which in this world of college football, you could see happening, or to stick with Stephen Belichick, which, if you're Bill, what do you like this? You're like, ooh, I didn't know. I didn't mean it.
Look, guys, it was a great offer. You take it too.
So there's a little bit of that. So I think the answer is he won't leave this year. I think he'll leave next year to go back, and I think he'll leave Stephen at in charge of everything. And
so you think the pot will still be hot for him next year?
Yes, dude. Okay. You watch these games; these coaches are awful.
Yeah,
they
trust
really
me. I saw plenty of that, brother. I had to watch the Patriots and the Cowboys most of the year.
I mean, really bad.
It is worth noting too about Stephen. Like, Stephen went out on his own this year at UW as the DC and did a pretty good job.
Yeah,
they weren't a great team,
great coach,
but they had a good defense. And it's worth noting that also part of this athletic report on Gerard Mayo playing cards was that he was going to demote Stephen. So everyone thought, okay, Stephen's leaving because his dad's leaving. And that was not the case. He was actually going to demote him and wanted DeMarcus Covington to be the defensive coordinator. And the Patriots defense effing tanked this year. It tanked. And it had most of the same personnel from last year, most of it. And so, Stephen was calling the plays on defense for the Patriots. Like, he can probably coach. And that's why I was kind of intrigued by, not stunned, but intrigued by getting the head coach in waiting with Carolina, because I think he can pave a way for himself.
Oh, for sure.
And now he's working with one of his dad's guys, Jed Fish, but he can make a name for himself. By the way, if you do lose Belichick at Carolina, you might lose his entire staff right now, because it is Bill Belichick, Stephen Belichick, Mike Lombardi, Matt Lombardi, and Freddie Kitchens.
How funny is that?
Does it surprise you? This is a man who took special teams coordinator, failed head coach Joe Judge, defensive coordinator and failed head coach Matt Patricia, and made them the offensive coordinators for their second-year quarterback. Their second-year quarterback they spent a first-round pick on.
The great story is that you'll like USA basketball when Larry Brown was the head coach of the year in 2004 when they lost. Larry Brown was like hell-bent on making Gino Auriemma the video coordinator, but he knew because he was out of spots. So he wanted to put Gino somewhere on the basketball operations staff, and that was where he wanted to put him. And they were like, you realize the video coordinator actually has to video coordinate.
Yes.
Like if you put Gino there will be no video. And it was like, just give me Gino there. We'll figure it out.
Oh my God. Were you a part of this? Were you part of, was that when you were?
I was low level. I was
Right.
like a PR, intern at the time. I was with the women's team.
Okay. But okay. So you didn't
I
have
was
a hand.
privy to all this info. Yeah.
So you kind of had a hand in the worst USA basketball performance ever. Right away. Pete Sousa's fingerprints are in there.
All over it. Yeah. And then they sent me to the Bobcats. So you could tell I'm a real winner.
In the Sixers, lest we forget.
Yeah.
So, all right. I do have another question here with Belichick. Because I think he should have been, if not should be, a name in this. We talked about this in this coaching carousel for the NFL. That's the reason I was most surprised with taking the Carolina job, because I thought he had options this year. That said, are the Raiders the option? This is a team that obviously has plenty of issues. They just fired a coach basically after his first full year. And they need to go out and draft a quarterback in the weakest quarterback draft in years. Is that the kind of situation you want Bill Belichick in if you're the Raiders?
No, and I feel like we've done that tango briefly and it's over with, because I do believe in Diana Rossini, like as a reporter. Like I think like he's not going to take that Raiders job. That's kind of what that report was yesterday, if I'm not mistaken. Right?
So they're taking Dion.
Well, I don't know what they're going to do, but I don't. I think I think the Raiders. The reason is the Raiders as a win. I mean, it's not beyond them to hire somebody and fire him in a year and then hire Belichick again. But you would like to think, if you're the Raiders, that whoever we hire will have some sustainability. So Bill Belichick with the Raiders, I would think, is off the table, right? Because you're going to hire a coach, and ultimately the goal of that coach is to last more than 1 year. And I think that Belichick will be back on the market because of his age and because of his aspirations in the NFL, probably in a year.
Okay. Did the Texans do that? They do back-to-back one-off firings? And that right?
Yeah,
Cully and then Lovie Smith?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Okay.
Yeah. And what you would call it did a pretty good job. The second guy.
Lovie. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. But what?
I will say, if Belichick's looking to coach around the NFL, I can think of a team that has an opening that would fit pretty well. Obviously, there's 6 openings now that is ready to. They have the quarterback. They're ready to make that next step. They really need some help in player personnel development. I think this might be outside the box, but Bill Belichick to the New England Patriots wouldn't be the craziest thing in my book.
Dude, I am a product of George Steinbrenner and Billy Martin.
Really? Oh,
look, anything's possible, dude. Anything's possible. I truly do. I mean that. Anything is possible, and time heals all wounds.
I would welcome Belichick back in a second.
Think about that. Yeah.
And because he'll bring Josh with him. He'll bring Josh McDaniels with him, which is one of the reasons why I am so high on Mike Vrabel, because I think he'll bring McDaniels with him. And I love him developing a young quarterback versus whoever the fuck they were going to, Alex Van Pelt or whomever, right? And I am wary about Ben Johnson. I like Ben Johnson a lot. And in most years, I'd be like, yeah. And in fact, I said it earlier this year, like Patriots take Ben Johnson.
Yeah.
But after you just struck out so big on a guy who'd never been a head coach before, I think Ben Johnson's more qualified than Mayo, but I think that's a big leap.
It is a huge leap. I'm super interested.
They should have hired him last year. They should have hired. I know he turns the jobs down ultimately, but they didn't even interview him last year.
Yeah, I'm cool with Rex Ryan going to the Jets. I'm like beyond cool with that. Yeah,
I think it's great for content.
I think exactly. I think it's great for content, and I want Gruden with the Cowboys.
Would you rather be the Patriots or the Jets right now?
I'd rather be the Patriots.
Me too.
Sure.
As bad as it's been.
I look in the mirror and I'm Bob Kraft. I don't look in the mirror and I'm Woody Johnson.
Well, that too, I guess. Yeah.
No, because Cam, you know this. Like true sports talk, it starts with ownership, and it's clear that the Patriots know that. I believe there's an acknowledgement and a self-awareness. Like we botched this. We got to get it.
I did say it was a good Kraft presser. Take anything, a press conference like with a grain of salt. But I actually think he held his own. And it looked genuine. I'll say this about Kraft. I've had plenty of problems with him the last year or two. And I think he has a bit more of an ego than we saw for a long time. But he is genuine. And you can tell when he's being genuine. And most owners, you can't tell that.
Imagine that, a self-made millionaire with a huge ego.
Crazy, right?
I mean, like,
Crazy. And also, like, the walk to the office is a little bit more fruitful for Bob Kraft than Woody Johnson. You know, the trophies lining the walls, the pictures.
no, that's and there's self-esteem that comes with that. And I think there's comfort in your own skin that comes with the ability to be like, you know what? I'm shutting this down. Let's get Vrabel. Done.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
I'm in on Vrabel. Vrabel McDaniels, Robert Saleh is DC, and Mike Borgonzi is GM.
We are Rogue Media Sports.
Hey, thanks for stopping by. And if you like this video, be sure to give us a like and subscribe. It really helps out the channel a ton. You can follow me on Twitter here for some more outrageous Boston sports takes coming to you every weekday at noon Eastern time. And then after that, wherever you get your podcasts.
We are Rogue Media Sports.